Greetings, I'm Ed Baker, and once again, good to be with you for another leadership tutorial on the topic here of setting priorities and managing time. This tutorial is the second in a series, the first having been on the setting priority process, and now we'll focus on how to manage time with these priorities in mind. A good way to begin is a quote from Peter Drucker, the noted management leader and teacher of various leadership and management topics. He said, "Time is the scarcest resource, and unless it's managed and managed well, nothing else can be managed." So, to summarize what I talked about in an earlier leadership tutorial, the priority setting process involves getting up on the balcony to establish the basis for setting your priorities, and then characterize your work activities using the four categories of must do, good to do, nice to do, not to do, and then share those priorities with your colleagues to seek alignment amongst you and your team. So, how might we go about doing this in a practical manner to look at how you are in fact spending your time? And here's an exercise for you to consider. The first step is to end each day by listing your 3 must-dos for tomorrow. And then start that next day by reviewing those 3 must-dos. And compare your must-do list with how you do, in fact, spend your time. By extension, you can actually go back in the past and review your calendar. Each of you has that to characterize each time block of the day. So for yesterday or the day before, you can characterize how you spend your time in each segment as a must-do activity, a good-to-do activity, a nice-to-do activity, or a not-to-do activity. And then, having done so for each day of the week, at the end of each week, review your daily analyses to compile what you've observed and what you've learned. So the guiding principles here flow from that exercise I've just described. It's important for you to refine your methods to focus on your must-dos. And by executing the exercise that I've described earlier, you may be able to ascertain whether you actually blocked out time in advance for those must-dos. Many of you do this. This is a good leadership practice. And then practice saying no or not now to the not-to-dos. This is hard to do, but it's very important for you to do so that your not-to-dos don't creep up and eat into too much of your time. So in summary, be clear on your top 3 to 4 priorities for each day and each week, and analyze then and review each block of time during your workday as a must-do activity, a good-to-do activity, a nice-to-do, or a not-to-do, using criteria that I shared with you in the earlier leadership tutorial. And very important here, develop greater discipline in allocating your time to those top priorities. And finally, get better at saying no or not now. If you'd like to read a little bit more about this topic, there's a column in our online leadership library on setting priorities and managing time, which discusses this in greater detail. So I hope this leadership tutorial, these two together, are helpful to you as you set your priorities and manage time accordingly. I wish you all the best in doing so. This is a key leadership skill. Thank you for joining this leadership tutorial today.